Good morning, Stampers. Welcome to the Stamp It Group Father's Day blog hop. For my project today, I'm going to try to make this video quick. A lot of it you'll be able to put together on your own. But we're going to be using the Geared Up Garage stamp set. And like, how fun is this? This just screams guy card all over it. So we've got this. We've got the matching dies that go with it. And I just love gears. You could do steampunk, you could do anything with this set of dies that coordinates with this stamp set. We're also going to be using the coordinated cardstock that goes with it. It's Classic Garage, it's 6x6. It's got tons of fun images, from tires to gas tanks to just some solid to some tire wheels and fuel gauges. If you don't have this paper, you're definitely going to want it. It's got a set of gears here. So we're just going to be using a small piece of that. And we're just going to jump right in, but look at this. This has a trick to it. I'm going to teach you two different things with this. One, I'm going to teach you how to make these little screw heads and nuts. How cute are those? And they're thick. And wait, gets better. Watch this. What? The lights light up. Yep, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a car that it's... Oops, I messed with my button there. But we're going to make this to where the lights light up when you push a button. And that's using the Chibitronics. I have done a video tutorial on the Chibitronics before. So I'll do the basic layouts and then I'll go into detail with these. So part of this video I'll be fast forwarding through for you. So we're going to start with our image, which is the car. This is really nice, by the way. If you don't know, this is a Mustang Fastback. I owned one of these. I owned a 69. So anyway, I've cut it with, oh, and I need to show you those. They're coming out in the new catalog. They're a stitched label die. I don't know if you can see that it's stitched. See if that'll show up on film. And then I'm just nesting them together to give it an outline. So we're going to color this real quick. Let me move in for you a little bit. This is just, I'm going to do basic coloring with this and using the Stampin' Blends. And I'm using the Real Red. So the dark and the light Real Red. And you'll need your color lifter. That's how we get these light accents in here to make it look like the car is shining. If you would like on yours, you can do like I did on this. See how the car is really shiny? I took my fine tip glue pen and covered the car with the fine tip glue pen so you can see that it kind of reflects the light there. I just made the car shiny. And that's all you need to do that. So let's color this guy real quick. Just going to start with my dark red. Now we're going to attach it to our mat. I just use glue. You can use your favorite adhesive, tape or glue. I use glue because I can shift it. See how I can move that just a little to make sure I'm as even as I want to be. So now we got our card done. Or if you want, on the one I did here, I did a yellow highlight around it to try to pull in some of the yellow here. I think on this one, I'm going to use my light pool party and do a little shading around it. It kind of makes it not look like just a stark car on a piece of white. It kind of makes your images pop when you shadow around them. So just take a really light color, either your grays, a light blue, a yellow, shadow around it. And then right at the edge of where you've done your shadow, bring in your color lifter and just do the edges. And it'll bleed it out a little bit, so it'll just be a shadow. When that dries, you'll see that's just going to be a light shadow around there. So for the card base, we have a regular A2 Whisper White. I took a piece of black for a matte, and this is the red from the classic car garage set. So I'm going to layer that red on there. I will have all the measurements and the materials used below this video. So you'll have all the measurements for this. I did a real thin black border on this. And then I took another piece of the Geared Up Garage designer paper, and I'm going to layer this gas can and oil can here on the black. I hate using designer paper that I really like the other side. It's like, oh, I'm losing it, losing that piece. So we're going to connect this to here. And we're going to add that to this matted piece. Just coming in just a little bit. Then we're going to add our car. And I'm going to glue the car flat down, and you'll see why for when we do the lights. I think I want the car in the middle there. I'm going to come up just a hair, because remember I have the gears down here, and this is going to be, the gears here is going to be, I'm going to move them up a little. When I did this card, it seems like my button's a little too close to the edge. So I'm going to move the gears up just a little, so I'm going to shift this car up on this card. I'm going to set that there. Now I'm going to show you how to make this screw and these nuts. It's fun. You're going to love it. All you need is dimensionals. Look at that. Okay. So we need dimensionals. We're going to take our hole punch. Let me zoom out here a little bit for you. We're going to take our hole punch, take the larger of your hole. So I'm going to punch a hole right in the middle of the dimensional. Okay, pull it out of there. Kind of still sticks to it. I leave mine on the pad until I'm done cutting. And that one didn't cut through all the way. There we go. Let me get a pair of, there we go, pair of tweezers. I'll cut a couple more. They're a little bit difficult because I've left them on the backing, but I want to be able to use the adhesive on the backside to attach them to my card, and we need the adhesive on the front side to emboss it. We're going to silver emboss these. I'm going to make one more. I think my hole punch is dull. Of course, now that I'm doing video, these aren't going to come out as perfect as they did the first time. Yep, that one is a fail. So we're going to cut one more. I wonder if I have a small hole punch that'll work, because I'm having a heck of a time with this. Of course, I'm going to have a heck of a time on it because I'm on a video. But I'm going to show you how we do them real quick, even though I think I have another hole punch I'll try. But meanwhile, so we want to take, this is silver embossing powder. Take your dimensional off. Take the top non-stick off. See, I did it wrong. And we're just going to add some silver embossing powder to that. And then heat set it. And it'll turn into a screw. Not. Okay, you have a nut. The screw is going to be a little easier. Now that's hot, so I need to get it off my tweezers. The screw, let me do this a different way here. Let's leave the top one on. Take your dimensional with your tweezers. Dip it into your embossing powder. And I want to have take your pick tool and the spatula. So heat set it. While it's hot, take your spatula and just make a crease. And there you go. You have a screw head. See if that'll show. See, you have a little silver screw head. And then you still have your backing on here so you can stick it to your project. I'm going to see if I've got a different hole punch. Let's try this hole punch on our bolts. So I want to do the bigger hole. That one feels like it's sharper. Yeah, it was. See, we have a better hole. So now we're going to take the dimensional off of there. Try to leave your one backing on there. And then you can use it as to attach to your card. The sticky side, dip it into your embossing powder. Tap it off. And heat set it. And there you go. You have a screw nut. So I guess the trick on that would be to have um, a sharper hole punch than mine was. I'm just going to set this on here because the sticky came off. And then you can just attach them to your project. Okay, now let's get to the fun part. Let's light up these headlights. Okay, so what I'm using for the headlights, if you saw my video a week or so ago, I did a video of a lighthouse and it's using the Chibitronics lights. And with the Chibitronics kit comes this copper tape. Oops. And then you have a little 3-volt battery, a little flat 3-volt battery. We need a little tiny piece of copy paper, which is just all this is, a copy paper. And I do it to where it's just a little bit larger than the battery. So you need that. And then you use these little Chibitronic lights. It's called Chibitronics. I guess I could put that right side up for you. You can find these, I believe Chibitronics actually has a website. I found mine on Amazon. You can get them in white. I think they come in yellow, white, yellow, and red maybe. There might even be green available, which I will be looking for because now that I've started using these, I think they would be fabulous for Christmas cards, lit up Christmas cards. And each of the little light sets come with 3 lights in this little set. So let me get one out. So I'm going to do 2 on this card. I'm going to grab my snips. Where are my snips? They've got a little plastic case right there, so just need to snip it a little bit so I can get them out without trying to damage the little copper connections on them. Well, this is painful. I can't even get them out of the package. I'll fast forward through this. There's our little lights. Okay, so I'm going to do just 2 headlights. So we're going to take our hole punch again, which I don't think this one's going to go that far in. So I'm going to use my big hole punch, and I'm going to punch out the headlights. And since we're just doing 2 headlights, I'm going to do the 2 outside headlights. See there? Okay. Now you take your card base. Let me move these little lights before I can't find them. We're going to figure out that we want our button to be, I'm going to do a button about right here, I think. So let me glue that on. And then for the little push me that I put on here, you can either do something like that, or you can write a little note in the card, push the gears and light up the car. But I just thought the little push me was cute. So I just used a tiny little 1/4-inch hole punch and made a little push me sign. So I'm gonna cut that out. And I'm just gonna glue it on my gear and then I'll write push on it. You know what? Push me or push. Okay. So the reason we need that is we need to know where we want our battery to set. So we are going to set this in place where you would have it attached down. We're going to take a pencil and write those little holes you cut in the headlights. Draw a little circle there. That way you know where your lights go. And then I'm going to still hold it in place and put a little X where our push button's going to be. That's where our battery's going to be. So now we need to design the layout of our copper and our battery. So I want to start with my battery. And I'm going to use a little bit of tape or glue. I think I'll just use some tape because I don't want it to come up. So I'm going to use double-sided tear and tape. Because it's stronger than regular tape. I'm going to put it right over our X. And that's where we're going to be. So now, on these batteries is, if I can pick them up, they're so tiny. When you look at these batteries, you're going to see a small little negative and a positive that'll tell you where the negative and positive is. Because where the negative and positive is here is where you need to be here. So it looks like the positive is the large strip, is the long side, and the negative is the short little side. So I think I want my positive to be above and my negative below, so I'm going to make a little note. And then I want my positive on my battery. Your battery will have a little positive sign on the flat side. So I want my positive to be the flat side against the card. So we're just going to mark that. So now we're going to take and design our layout for our copper tubing, or our copper tape. Sorry about that. So let's go, here's our positive. So we know it's going to go across there. And then turn and come down. So you're just designing your diagram where your tapes are going to go. And you want it right in the middle. So now here's our negative side. And we just want to make sure that our negative does not come in contact with the positive until this side is folded over. So draw your diagram. And right where your fold is, come down and then over to your middle for your negative. So that's your negative, and this is your positive. So now just take your copper foil tape, let's see if I can move in on this for you. So now we're going to take our copper foil tape and try not to tear it. It is kind of delicate. And follow your diagram. When you get to the corner, you kind of have to fold it. And if you push up, it stuck to me. So if you push up and then fold, it'll turn the corner. And then come down to your X and trim it off. Where did I do my snips? And there we have our positive. Now we're we're going to run our negative, following our diagram, being sure not to touch the other tape. We don't want the other tape to touch until we've opened our flap, turn our corner, turn our corner again, I'm going to trim this off so I have less. Turn our corner and end up in the middle there. Now take your bone folder and just smooth out your tapes. It smooths out quite easily. I did see where people have actually trimmed this tape in half, and you can get twice the life out of your roll of tape, copper tape. So now we want to take our lights, and they do have adhesive on them. Last video I did, I got the negative and the positive wrong. So our positive is the long strip, and you can kind of see the tiny little light right in the middle there. That's where you want to try to make it right where your hole is. They do say that these lights, these little LED lights, are long enough, or light enough, or bright enough that they will go through a piece of watercolor paper. But I haven't tried that yet. So you just want to make sure that your positive copper strip matches with your positive, and negative matches with the negative. Now we'll take our second light, and press it down on our copper tape. Make sure you have a good connection. You can even use your little bone folder. Just be careful of the light itself, and there's a tiny little circuit there. You don't want to crush or damage that. Now we'll take our battery, and remember our positive side is down, and I'm just going to test this to make sure we've got a good connection. See? There we go. Look at that. Okay, so now I'm going to use double-sided tape again on my battery because I don't want it moving around. So you just set it in the middle of your battery there. We're going to tape it down. Make sure that the battery is not touching your other negative before we want it to. We're just going to set that there and test it. Look, we've got light. We got light. Okay, now you need to build a little home around your battery, because you don't, when you lay your card down, you don't want your light on constantly. So we're going to take and use just some foam tape, or some foam dimensionals. And you may need to use 2 layers, because your first layer of foam dimensional is about the height of your battery. So you have to come up above your battery. So if your foam tape is above the battery, then you're okay. So we're just building a little house around it. And I think that, yeah, see, that's not tall enough. So I'm going to add one more layer. And when we take off our adhesive on our foam, see, it keeps it up. And so it's not going to light until somebody presses on it. There you go. Look at that. You got your little foam house. Let me move my other little light away. Now you have to add the rest of your adhesive to mount your card. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll just use the same adhesive. And you only really need to do one layer on your regular card because your little push button's going to have an area where they're pushing. So I've found it to work without having to add double layer. But I think this card's going to work better because I have room over here. On the first one I did, my button was too close to the edge of my card. And I don't think it works as well. It works, but I think it's too much. And if we marked our circles and everything right, this should line up perfectly. If the lights aren't exactly centered in the holes that you've created to show your lights, like I said, these are very bright lights. Odds are they're going to show through anyway. So I'm going to try to see if I can So hopefully I've got that lined up right. Yeah, look at that. Push our button and we have headlights. There you go. Go ahead and finish adding your embellishments. On mine, I would go ahead and I'm going to make a couple more little nuts and a couple screws and add them on there. And then for our grating, I just silver embossed your classic. And let's just go ahead and add that with a dimensional also. And I will write push me right there, or push here. There you go, an interactive Father's Day card.